This week on Therapy, you know him as Evolved by Chris on Instagram. It's relationship coach Chris Davids. Chris is a lifelong student of both science and the human spirit. And over his 9 year academic career, he received 3 advanced degrees and has treated more than 200,000 patients. After his divorce in 2018 and stepping away from his practice in 2021, Chris began a new chapter of healing and self discovery. He found peace and purpose in his true calling, relationship, and life coaching. Chris now integrates decades of academic, clinical, and personal experience into his coaching program, and he's here to coach me today. Chris helps people evolve into secure, grounded, authentic versions of themselves, capable of leading, loving, and living with clarity, integrity, and purpose. Yes, please. His work is rooted in emotional intelligence, nervous system awareness, and the belief that true healing begins with understanding ourselves and blends integrated attachment with nervous system regulation so your body feels safe enough to show up as your true self in real life. Please do me a favor and hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this episode. That way, you'll get an alert every time a new therapy drops. Please consider sharing this episode on social media. Tag me, tag Evolved by Chris. Maybe even leave me a quick review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It would help me out so much. And now, your weekly dose of therapy with Chris Davids. So, therapy is live therapy. I know you call people out on things, and that is exactly why you're here today, because
Mhm.
I want that kind of tough love. Call me on my bullshit if I'm saying something and you're like, say it. Like, I
Right.
want the feedback. But first, before we get into like coaching, talk about how you got into this career of life coaching and what your professional background was before this.
Well, gosh, yeah. I got into it. I've always had a propensity, a passion for growth, development, personality, relationships, anything surrounding that. My first degree is a Bachelor of Science minoring in philosophy. I took every philosophy course the university could have. I mean, ethics, advanced ethics, metaphysics, religion, you name it, I took it. So I've always loved conversation. I've loved introspective thought. That's one of my personality characteristics. Um, So I've got multiple degrees. I was a doctor for 18 years. I retired, gosh, 5 years ago now. I stopped practice. Um,
Mhm.
Post grad, within a year, I got married. Was married for 14 years. Had 3 kids, one in which I adopted, 2 boys. I've got 3 boys in my life and a daughter. Got divorced 6 years ago. Nasty divorce. Marriage
Yeah.
was up and down. And then took a few years off, decided to become a professional coach. And and then at that point, yeah, really went into the coaching space and kind of ran with that. I had to redefine my purpose. Uh, and really I've always had the idea to help people. I mean, in my purpose, which is clearly defined, the servitude of others, serving others is really huge. So when I ended practice, that ideal was still there. I needed to recover from the divorce. I had to kind of find my way into the online space. So this is what I did, and yeah, it's a really wonderful thing. So I'm really pulling from decades of clinical, academic, and personal experience, going through most of the dynamics that people go through in relationships and in life. You know, changing of careers, ending of relationships, dating in my 40s. I'm 47 now. Uh,
We're going to talk about that too. The dating game has
Mhm.
changed a little bit since we were in our 20s.
You know, it has, but I found it honestly, I found it very easy. I dated a lot of women for 4 years and met amazing women. I've never really had a bad date. I mean, I got catfished a lot. That's like the way it is. So a lot of catfishing, which is, I think, from a male's perspective, one of our challenges, to be honest, with online dating anyway,
You
which
wanna
I haven't
know a
had.
female's perspective for challenges? Ghosting. Where you're
Yeah,
all in, you're texting
yeah,
all the time,
yeah,
the bing comes in and you're, like, excited to hear
yeah,
from someone and then gone. So
right.
from a female perspective, you're dealing with catfishing, I'm dealing with ghosting, but
Men
we'll
deal
get
with the
in.
same thing. Yeah,
Really?
100%.
Girls ghost?
Over 50% of women online dating ghost. Over 50%. I have
Okay.
so many friends that do online dating. That is one of their primary, that's the second complaint, despondence,
What's the first?
catfishing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need you to coach me on dating, especially if
No,
you're
no,
saying
it's
you
all
had a
good.
good experience. First of all, I need to say your voice, like, how do you not have a podcast? I mean, that is just asking for it right
I
there.
appreciate it. Yeah, I've been asked a number of times, yeah.
You would, like, yes, you should consider that. As someone who I'm not gonna say I guess I'm in the middle of a divorce. I filed 2.5 years ago. My
Right.
ex and the father of my 2 kids has been gone out of the house for 2.5 years, but it's
Mhm.
not finalized. We're gonna end up doing mediation. So I'm technically not divorced. I'm still married, but gone for 2.5 years.
Right.
For someone still navigating divorce, what are you willing to tell me? You kind of already said it was kind of a bad divorce. Like, what, looking back, do you feel like you could have done differently or wish you would have gone a different way or anything we could learn from your divorce experience?
Do not rush it.
Oh, well, I didn't. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
doing great there.
You're
It's two
winning.
and a half years.
You're winning already. My person, because you will make very poor decisions dating, in marriage, in relationship, or in divorce from an emotional perspective. That is a
Okay.
poor choice. When you're emotionally elevated, your
Mm,
decisions are not going to be grounded in reality. Okay. And this is even with early dating. Women, particularly, they will look for dating for chemistry and not connection. So they're going to be like, oh, it just feels good. It feels right. Then I'm like, then you might want to step back and look at the situation pragmatically. Because if you're basing your decisions based on feelings, whether it's an elevated love feeling, whatever you think that means, and or a stressed state, then the decisions probably aren't going to be in your best interest.
okay. I've heard you say you were married to a narcissist. Can I
Right.
ask when you clocked that? Was it like post the marriage or did you kind of know what you were dealing with in the marriage?
Anyone that's been with a narcissist will understand this. I clocked it when she told me I was a narcissist, that I had multiple personalities, and I went to therapy. And for me being a narcissist, and my therapist, because I this was years ago, I didn't know
Mhm.
what that meant back then. I'm like, what are you talking? Like, what? I'm like, am I? So I looked it up. I'm like, this doesn't track well. I'm like, maybe this, I guess, in a capacity because we all have narcissistic tendencies.
Yes.
I went to therapy, and my therapist is like, "What are y'all doing here?" It's like,
Yes.
as my ex is knowing I'm in therapy, texting me and messaging, she's like, "Does she know that you're here and she's calling you?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." She's like, "Why do you wanna be there?" So
Yeah.
that's when I found out. I'm like, so then I kinda reassessed and looked and thought, and I'm like, "Okay." I looked at my own patterns of behavior, and I'm like, "Well, why did I act in this way? Why did this happen? Why?" Not to offload my stuff onto her, but it was very much a classic grandiose narcissistic with borderline personality disorder relationship. It was
Mhm.
challenging. And as a
Okay.
consequence, I got decimated in the divorce because narcissists are about control and nothing.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
So it took me
That's
years to rebuild, but it was worth it. Let's put it this way.
look at you now.
I've been with the most amazing person for some time, and so yeah,
Oh,
yeah, every relationship has its challenges, but the reality is, when you move away from a relationship that is not serving your higher interest, your higher best version of yourself, uh, and if you're in an unhealthy relationship dynamic, whether it's a partnership, marriage, whatever it is, like that person should be pushing you and you pushing them to become the best version of your future self. And I can honestly say everything of who I like myself now more than I ever have in my life. And it is a direct consequence of this person that I'm with pushing me to become
yeah.
that better.
Would you say that if someone does not, I don't even want to say, not having a growth mindset is like minimizing it, like not at all interested in being any different than they are? Would you say that it would be pretty impossible to have a relationship with someone who is not interested in any growth? So in anything that you're proposing to them that would, or like inviting them to grow, not even just therapy, a certain job, or like trying to light them up is received as control, you're controlling me or you're criticizing me. Like, I agree with you. The person should bring out the best in you, and it's God put this person in your life to bring out this side of you and to help you evolve. But if someone is unwilling to evolve, would you say that
Mm,
that's kind of like a, like, how can you be in a relationship with someone that has no desire to grow and evolve? And if your role as a person in the relationship with them is to bring that out of them, it's like just like a wall. And I filed for divorce. And I have
fair.
so much guilt and shame about that, but like I don't know what else to do.
There's a lot in what you just said. I want to highlight the last thing first, and then I'll go backwards.
Please.
Guilt and shame. So guilt is a feeling when you've done something wrong. Okay. And you can recognize, I cheated. I'm guilty because I cheated. I'm guilty because I lied. I did something wrong. So guilt is a feeling associated with that. Now, shame is a good feeling. Shame is a feeling that I have a standard of myself. I wanted a relationship to work. I did my best and I feel shame that I let my partner down because I just couldn't get there. Shame is a good feeling. Men need to feel shame. Guilt is a I am the problem. It is me. I did something that that's you, no one wants to feel guilt. But
Can
the
I say
feeling,
something?
go ahead.
I do believe I feel guilty for filing for divorce. I feel guilty for doing that.
Yeah, leaning into that and understanding really the core reason why that guilt is there, and do you truly feel that you made the right decision for yourself? And it may be more shame than it is guilt. Shame that you did something that disappointed somebody else. It's a
Or
fine
that
line between guilt and
the shame of like a decision that I made is so greatly affecting my 2 kids who now have to go back and
exactly.
forth because of a decision I made. I have
Shame
that.
is good. That means you have a responsibility and you feel you cannot meet that responsibility fully with the decision that you had to make. That's shame.
Okay. Okay.
That just means you're a good person. So you
Okay.
feel that. If you felt no regard, no, honestly, a lot of
True,
people
true.
don't.
Oh,
I had a
okay.
conversation yesterday with a man, and he was, he's considering coaching, and he's been with a partner for a number of years, and he's more avoidant. She's a little more anxious, and he's upset. And I said, "Well, what are you upset with this potential divorce breakup?" He's like, "Well, I'm like, it's a lot. It's the procedure of it. My parents got divorced. I just know the stress of it, and on and on and on." And I said, Did you talk to her about this?" He's like, "Well, yeah." I'm like, "What was her response?" And he says, "Well, I don't remember. Whatever." I'm like, "My concern here is you never mentioned her."
Yeah. Jeez. He's just cold. It just sounded like cold.
Transactional
Okay.
girls,
Yes. Okay.
right? So
Okay. Well,
back to the idea of relationship and your person bringing out the better version of yourself. People oftentimes, and women honestly more frequently, will say, "I need to find a secure man. I want to find my person." And I say, I'm like, "Good luck with that." Right?
okay.
You've got to find someone who has the similarities in your values, lifestyle alignment, as far as your aligns with your purpose, has a future goal, all the things. Right? Chemistry is a bonus. You need that. You need to have attraction, but that's really secondary to all the other stuff.
Okay.
Then you need to say, how do we transform each other's red flags into orange, yellow, and green flags, which is the reality. Everybody's got red flags. And if you run from a red flag, good luck. You'll be single forever. You got to look at it and say, like, okay, is this something that someone has a growth mindset? Are they acutely aware of it? Can this be changed? Can I live with this if it is moving in a positive direction? Or is this a hard stop? No. Okay.
Okay.
There's different types of red flags. I'm not talking about alcoholism or abuse or whatever. Someone that's 3 months out of divorce, this would not be smart.
Yeah.
Um, but the reality is you need to co-create a good relationship. You don't fall into them.
Totally. You just made me think when you were like, you have to agree on where your life is going. Jillian Tarecki did my show, and the way she put it, she's like, you have to agree on a life well lived, and if you don't agree on that, it's never going to work. Someone is always acquiescing, and someone is always resentful because you don't
Yep.
agree on a life well lived. Completely agree with her. When I
Yeah.
was 24, we agreed on a life well lived, but I
Right.
changed. I wrote a book and talked about some very vulnerable stuff. And when it came, bulimia, like stuff that I was never going to talk about. But when I did, the response from other women who were like, oh my God, me too, but I've never told anyone. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I write another book and I started a nonprofit for teen girls that are struggling with body image. And I've never felt more lit up than I was going live on Instagram on the pandemic, and a radio station gives me the show. I wasn't out, Chris, like auditioning. I didn't go after it. It literally fell in my lap, and I know it's for me, and I will continue doing it. When I stepped into this, my relationship went the opposite way because he was like, "What
Right.
is this?" And it's fair. I said I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. We agreed on this life, but then I found something that completely lights me up. And doing this show, I just talked to so many women who don't really step into who
mm,
they really are until 40. They don't know who
yeah,
they are. And at 24, it wasn't a bait and switch. I wasn't like, I'm going to say this, I'm going to launch a career. I did want to just be, I was just like on his arm. He was playing football. I want to be a mom, still want to
right,
be a mom, but I'm going to continue to do this. And I know that I went through my struggles to come out on the other side and help women, not like a coach, but I speak. And I never felt more lit up than when I'm on a stage talking to other women. And
mm,
we're not aligned anymore. So, how does somebody who is aligned and goes into a relationship in their 20s or early 30s like sustain when somebody does like change? I don't want to even say I changed my mind. I evolved. He wants me to be the girl he married, which he feels like is a fair thing to ask for. But I would be resentful AF if I stopped doing this and was like, okay. And if my daughter came home and was like, my husband or my boyfriend was like, I don't like when you go speak or do book signings, I wouldn't be like, well, sweetie, you got to listen to that. You're married. So I'm
right.
trying to show her, no, do
So
what lights you up.
there are some core things here and some core
Please.
beliefs, some
Okay.
limiting beliefs, or I think just general ideas that a lot of people have that are just wildly incorrect, right?
Okay.
The number one thing, and there are some discrepancies with how people see this, your partner should be your best friend,
Okay.
number one, right?
Love that.
Your best friend, they should be your main cheerleader in life. They should be the person who is there to support, to see, understand, and accept whatever it is that you're going through in life and whatever you have been through in your life up to this point. That's the job. That's the responsibility. The cadence, the direction of a relationship, absolutely. We're going to agree that we're going to get into a relationship. We're going to move towards family. We're going to move towards whatever it is that we want to do for that future version, that co-creation of a life. That's this. You're functioning like this. This is paying bills, being parents, living your life, your careers. But it doesn't mean you need to abandon this. This is the depth of connection, the togetherness, the intimacy, the vulnerability that you're having, the check-ins to say, do you feel you understand me? Do you feel I understand you? You know, the regular check-ins to see where you're at. There is it is not an uncommon idea that like, hey, you said you were going to be a stay-at-home mom, for example, or you're a football player. And in just to, I'll highlight this first. Men oftentimes who are not tethered correctly to their purpose in life, if they tether it to, I'm a football star, that's
Mhm.
my purpose. It's like, awesome. But what happens when you're not a football star anymore? Your purpose, quote unquote, which is an incorrect, it is a fallacy of a purpose. Your purpose is to always be defined by something to serve others in life, whatever that is. And there's three aspects of purpose: what you do to serve others in career, particularly for men. This is wildly important. And you've lived this because when a man loses his purpose, the household is like, it's a mess.
Yep.
Because then the woman doesn't feel he has a direction to lead in not in a patriarchal way, but just lead with this is where we're going. I'm here to support you, but I also know where I'm going and I want you with me, right?
Yes.
A supportive role for both of us. And so, number one, purpose is how do you serve others in career? Number two, how do you want to show up to serve your partner? Number three, legacy. How do you want to show up as the best part or parent in the capacity to show up as children? So there's three aspects to it. It cannot be unilaterally, I want to be a wife. I just want to be a husband. Because then what happens if your partner dies? What happens if you
Yeah.
get divorced? Then your life is
Yeah.
destroyed. So it's common. And I lived that when I was out of career 5 years ago. I was 18 years. I saw 200,000 patients in 18 years. It was my life. I was a father. I was a husband and I was a clinic owner. I was a doctor. And it was like when that ended, I had a major existential crisis. And it took me a couple of years to say, okay, well, this is what I want to do. How do I get there? I had to redefine my purpose. And once I did that, now I'm living in alignment with that. And the opportunities and doors that open are amazing. But that's number one. Number two, when you're in relationship, the idea that you said, now I want to be in front of people. And I understand how he could have a hard time with this. He's like, what's this? His job is to be the cheerleader in your life, no matter what you want. People have this misconception. A relationship is a third entity. It is this, and you have two individuals that make up that relationship. And when I coach couples, I do not coach them together because I'm like, if you're not healthy alone, And if you are not secure in yourself, there's no way you can function in relationships. So I coach them independently.
Okay.
Maybe once in a while we'll see them together, but that's maybe 4 or 5 sessions. Right? I'll see you on your own because you got to deal with your own stuff. You need to understand who you are, and then you can feed into the relationship in a
Okay.
healthy way.
I want to ask you something before I lose it. But
Yeah.
first, I want to ask you how you got out of that existential crisis because you said it's a couple years, and I'm dealing with someone for a
Mm,
couple years.
4 years, almost 5.
Goosebumps. What snapped you out of it? I want to know. And then I guess this masculine, feminine. I know you talk about it sometimes. You're making me think when you're like, he's supposed to support me. Eh, I think he did want to, does want to.
Right,
He doesn't have the capacity. He doesn't know how to support. He never saw that. He's used to being the man. I'm on his
right,
arm. I'm wearing his jersey. And then when I step into things, or if he doesn't, I think he wanted to, but he didn't know how to. Like he wants to lead. He doesn't want me to do TV. He wants me to be at home. Like that's masculine. And anything I don't even
that's
like
not
saying
masculine. That's
he
not
thinks
masculine.
that it's masculine, me
Right,
stepping it's not career, it's like life purpose, like, I know I'm supposed to do this, and anytime it's like I'm stepping into my masculine, he sees it that way, and then I should just be at home
right.
making dinner in more of a feminine role. So, those 2 things came up when you were talking. First, I wanna know how you got out of your funk, and then if you can explore what is masculine and feminine, and maybe for a man that wasn't raised or didn't have a male role model that showed up for the wife and was just raised that a man is a man, you know what I'm saying? Like just this
I understand.
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not a subscriber, and on my page, I do not put polarizing things on there. I'm not about toxic femininity, and I'm not about toxic masculinity.
Okay.
And I don't like either of those terms. Those are
Okay.
red pill and call them blue pill terms. They're both like they're horrible, right?
Okay.
Um, I don't talk about polarizing things, but I'm very clear on the reality of situations. Masculine and a man showing up for a woman, and this is just going back to finish that. It'll tie in. A man's job and a woman's job is to support what the individual needs, what you want. The idea that we just grew apart in relationship, I think, is one of the most absurd things. It's like, okay, so you just ignored your partner's needs. You didn't have depth of relationship. You just stopped talking. That's laziness. That's just
Or
you just became complacent in your
or kids
relationship.
came and there was no time. It was not
There's
laziness. It's like the kids came and I forgot about him. And I will own that. So it's
there's
not, it's like,
always time. Always
yes,
time.
that's
I
fair.
raised I
Okay.
raised
I
3
was
kids.
tired. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a
Okay.
practice. I was working 6 days a week.
Fine. Okay.
There's
Okay.
always time, you
Okay.
know? Again, it's about priorities, and it's about
Yes.
making a schedule for things. It's his job to support what you want as an individual in your life, independent of what he wants for himself.
Okay.
That's the job. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it supports in a healthy way your future, the better version of you.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Got it.
So that's why. And when I speak to women, the groundwork that I do, first visits, we look at your top 3 core values. And it's really common. Women and men give very different values, by the way. The systems are quite different. And it tracks well. 90% of the time, women will give things like honesty, kindness, family, and they will give me growth mindset. Okay.
Okay.
Men never bring up growth mindset. Men bring
Sure.
up other things like integrity, respect, independence, freedom,
Loyalty.
other stuff,
Yeah.
loyalty,
Okay.
100%. Women don't talk about that. But women do talk about growth mindset. So the idea that a man does not have the growth mindset or does not encourage the idea that you have a growth mindset to become the better version of you, again, that's the job. When you're in
Okay.
a relationship, your job is to ensure that this person, your person, is elevated to the best version of them for themselves. And your job is to make sure that they elevate to the best version of themselves. That's the job. That is
I was
the job
I was
in
doing the job.
relationship.
He did not
You
like
were.
me doing my job. He
You
he had a
were.
lot of resentment from me doing my job.
And this is you're hitting an inner wound. It's deflection, it's projection, it's defensiveness. Those things happen commonly with men when you hit the inner wound that he's not good enough. And he justifiably probably thinks like, "Oh my god, I lost my career. I don't have a purpose. What am I doing every day?" And then I'll
Yeah.
translate into how I refound mine. So it's very real for him and real
Yeah,
for
I
men.
get that. Yeah.
It is, and it's challenging. but he still has the responsibility as a grown ass man to say, I need to find my way. She is giving me cues. She is giving me bids to say, this isn't working. I care about you. I want you to get where you need to be. I can't lead you there. I can't push you. I can't pull you. It's your responsibility. I am just bringing it to your present awareness. And an indecision is a decision, right?
Right.
How I found my way is I tried multiple little things. So when I was married, she was into horses, so I built her a ranch, two ranches, and I love building stuff. I'm like half cowboy; it's my thing. So we bred horses. I delivered horses. I'm like for about 6 years, and then we got divorced right when I was done building the barn, which took me a year literally building it.
Oh my
And we
god.
got divorced right there. So it didn't quite get done. And it's like, I still think about that barn. I'm like, I just, cause I like to fix
Yeah.
things. Anyway, so the horses were gone and I decided I was going to about a year, 2 years after divorce. I'm like, I'm going to get a dog because I was lonely.
That's what I did.
And yeah, I've never raised a dog. In fact, I was attacked and I got 35 stitches in my face when I was 7. So I wasn't really keen on dogs. So I got myself
No.
a Doberman. And
Perfect. That
yeah,
tracks. Yeah. Get a Doberman.
get a Doberman, sweetest dogs. Once you get a Doberman, you never go back. Trust me. It's like, so I took that.
Oh.
It turns out I have a propensity to train dogs. So I tried on different hats and
Okay.
loved my dog. Her name was Athena Maria. She had 2 names because she was so special.
She was that chick. Yeah.
She was that chick. I swear, if there was like if someone like heard me, if there was a videotape, they'd think I'd have like a girl in my life because I called her baby, sweetheart, chicken noodles. I mean, pick something. I had all these pet names for her, anything
Aw.
but her name. Anyway, turns out I had a gift to train dogs. I was really good
Mhm.
at it. So she ended up passing away a few years back, unfortunately, prematurely at a young age. But I would pick up dogs once in a while to train. Anyone with Doberman, I would train them. So I was I was throwing fishing lines out. What sticks? What works? What do I want to do at? What am I good at? Trying to redefine post divorce who I was, what I wanted, what brought me joy.
Okay.
Right.
Was it
Sitting
self-imposed? Nothing
100%.
like okay, so I it's gotta
Right.
come from him. There's
It
it wasn't
has
like
to
somebody was
come.
like, "You need to figure this out." You just have to
No.
one day be like, "All right, enough."
Yeah. You've got to, Joe Dispenza talks about this, right? You need to keep an open heart. If you don't have an open heart to experience, if you compartmentalize that, your heart needs to be open to money. It needs to be open to experience. It needs to be open to love. You cannot say, I am not looking for love, but I want money and I want experience and I want opportunities for career. That won't happen. The heart is not compartmentalized. So I left my heart completely open to experience in life, to love, to relationship, to opportunities. And I would just bring things in, whatever. When there was a course I wanted to take, I take a course. Took a
Okay.
course on day trading. I thought maybe I wanted to be a professional day trader. So I locked myself in my house for 3 months, learned to day trade. Serves me well with that. Turns out I'm not so bad at that either. But
Nice.
it didn't stick. It didn't align with my purpose ultimately. It was skills. If you
Okay.
don't know what to do, Alex Hormozy is huge on this. Skills, 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 skills. Get more freaking skills as a man, for sure, right?
Okay.
So I kept on gathering skills. I took courses on personality. Loved Jordan Peterson's information on that. Super intelligent man. Learned a lot about what Alex Hormozy teaches. Dog training, I took a professional coaching course. That's what stuck because my partner's like, hey, I took this course. Why don't you look at it? And I knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know the path to get there. The online landscape when I'm in a clinic going from room to room like a pinball all days with 100 patients, like that was my life. If I'm not in front of someone in a room, how else do I get there? How do I go
Mhm.
online? So she helped me with that direction. And I was open to her helping me educate to get that. So I did that. That was the last thing. And I tried. I tried for a year and a half. How is this going to work? How is it going to stick video after video, learning to edit an hour to do these videos and edit all
Uh-huh.
this stuff, you know?
I do.
And then but it aligned with my purpose. I was happy doing it even before it stuck. And I just kept doing the thing. But sitting in indecision is a decision. Sitting
Love
and
that.
doing nothing, you will get nowhere. You have to make a decision, even if it's the wrong one, perceptively, it's not the wrong one because it's moving you away from stagnation and into a better version, a different version of you. And if it's different,
Yes.
it's better if the intention is one that is positive.
I love that.
That's
Yes. It
it.
doesn't matter if it doesn't end up being what you do, it's got you off the couch. So
It
it's the
doesn't
right thing.
matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you
Right.
fail 1,000 times. I failed so many times the last 6 years to get me here.
Yeah.
So are they actually failures, or was it just an uncomfortable path? And I put this on my story the other day. I do not believe in motivation. I do not have a business coach. I do not have a coach. I see a psychologist every couple of weeks because I'm like, I just need to offload my stuff. I'm
Sure.
human. I got stuff, you
You
know.
are.
Amazing divorce I went through. It's like,
Right.
actually, I'm done talking about that. That's the past. That just actually
Love
brings me
that.
more peace than anything now. But but regardless, I don't believe in motivation. I don't need motivation because in my mind it is an inevitability. If I put my mind to something, I knew I would be helping people in my life because that's my purpose. How I get there doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't care. This is the inevitability. It doesn't matter what it takes. I don't care if I fail 1,000 times. I don't care. A pebble or a mountain is the same obstacle because this is the inevitability. I just want to be there and I'll do whatever it takes. That's it,
Love that. Okay.
right?
All right.
So I'm not a big
Uh,
motivation guy. I don't go to Tony Robbins, obviously amazing, but I don't need that type of enticement to be motivated to what I want because I'm very clear on what I want.
and you're
In relation
self-aware. You
Yeah,
know
and
you don't
relationship
need
is
it.
the same thing. Yeah, and
Okay.
relationship is the same. I know how I show up. I don't do anything intentionally to compromise the integrity of the relationship, so I don't have guilt. I might have shame because I'm still human. Something might happen that maybe I tripped up on, wasn't intentional. I feel horrible about it, and you own it, but the idea that the relationship is going to succeed is, to me, an inevitability because 'cause I'm showing up as the best version. It's not in a controlling way. They still have their choice to decide if they wanna be in it or not. But if I know I'm presenting in an integrated integrity way with a growth mindset, with the best positive intention for this relationship, whatever that wants to look like in the future, it's just a matter of time. It's gonna be a rocky road potentially. It's just a matter of time.
Gonna ask you about like childhood stuff that I'm sure with your patients or your what do you call them clients, you
Yeah.
go into childhood and you look at
Mm,
that's where the attachment stuff starts. I've heard you say this, I follow you obviously, like about blocks, like for people that are like,
mhm.
no, my childhood was great. Nothing was wrong. You can have like emotional blocks where you just
Yeah.
literally block it out. Is that what I
Yeah.
did? Because again, I'm very like anxious in
Mm,
attachment and anxiously attached. And I look at my upbringing, my parents were together. There was no like situation that stood out, but I know you say look at how you were given attention and was it performance based? I think it may
mm,
be a little bit of that that I like to
mhm,
be get titles and win thing like I was soccer, like state
mm.
championships and that I like
Yeah.
validation from those things. Like maybe that's how my childhood like do you have to start there and kind of look at how your parents loved you and
Mhm.
how they attuned to you? Is that where it starts?
Yeah, there's 2 aspects. Well, there's multiple aspects to it, but I mean, children are little sponges, right? When you're a child, your attached people have a misconception. They're like, "I'm secure." I'm like, "How long you been in a relationship?" "Oh, I've been single for 5 years." I'm like, "Then you're not secure. You're just single."
Because you only know if you're in a relationship, right? That's the
Yeah,
test.
yeah, you're
Okay,
not
here we
triggered.
go.
No one's poking those
Yes,
awesome little
I'm
sore
great.
spots. So
That's so
I'm
true
great.
though, Chris, because I am like never been more happy with myself. I love who I am. I'm so
Of
confident, but then
course.
put me around someone I'm attracted to, and I'm like this weird, anxious, like I'm not secure when I'm with someone I'm attracted to. So it's like, yeah, you're
Yeah,
secure because you're single and it's not being
yeah.
tested in a relationship.
And this is what I hear people all the time. It's like you will be triggered. You will become anxious or avoidant in a relationship at some point. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Right?
Okay,
The job is to heal those triggers. Again, the job in relationship, the responsibility that you have as an individual is to understand that your partner is a mirror to push back to you the things that trigger you. And different people, different mirrors will trigger you in different ways. It's your job to then say, why is this happening? Not make it about him, but say, why am I reacting and acting in a specific way? What do I need to do to change that? Of course, if it's a healthy dynamic, you don't want them
sure.
intentionally triggering you from, you understand, um,
Yeah.
the unhealthy dynamics, toxicity, cheating, all that kind of stuff. We're talking about a genuinely normal relationship that has stuff come up. So yeah, that's addressed. Your job is to become better for yourself, to deal with the parts, to deal with the inner child, to deal with those childhood wounds, so that you're not living 30, 40 years in the past now, or you're
Yes.
not living 20 years in the future now. Your body physiologically is does not subscribe to time. Time
Okay.
doesn't matter. It doesn't exist in your body, because if you have the memory of the worst time in your marriage, you can relive that experience physiologically right now.
Yes.
And if you have the
Okay.
fear of something in the future, you will also physiologically live it. That's your responsibility, not your partner's. You've got to control the narrative and you to stay present, which is the most challenging thing for people in relationships, in arguments, in work, everywhere, is being present
Got it.
right now and understanding how you feel, what that means, what time in history or future is that coming from, how do you process it, how do you change the narrative. Back to attachment, two things. It's how you observe your parents' relationship, how do they act? Okay, children learn by observation. Most importantly, children learn by feeling.
Mhm.
Four types of memory, fundamentally. Semantic, it's a microphone, this is a chair, this is a couch. Procedural, driving a car, making coffee, you don't
Yeah.
think about it, you just do it. Episodic, we went to Disneyland, we went to Hawaii, I remember the thing, I remember Christmas. Most importantly, emotional. An emotional memory for people typically who are avoidant, they'll tell me their whole history. I usually say from 5 to 16 in like 2 minutes. Like, I don't remember anything else. And we
Yeah.
had a good childhood. I just don't really remember anything. Mom and dad were always there, but I just don't have any memories because there was no emotional attunement. The job and how you build attachment attached to another human, the first loves of your life are your parents, right? And how they react to you when you are sad, upset, four core emotions: joy, sad, fear, anger. When you feel those four emotions, their response to co-regulate you should be one to make you feel safe, to trust yourself, to know that you are protected.
Yeah.
That's their job. And parents aren't, they shouldn't be demonized if they didn't do that, because they're still human. And even the
No,
ones that do their best, still you still might become anxious or avoidant. There's different aspects of that. And the funny thing is with the two parents, even if there's twins, those they one could be anxious, one could be avoidant. It's still a personal experience.
okay.
Gabor Mate says this, and it's really interesting. He says that no two children have the same parent.
Mm, that is interesting.
Well, you how many kids have you got?
I have 2, but I was thinking it more as my siblings. Like, I'm the oldest of
Right.
4 girls, and the
Yeah.
parent that my youngest sister had was not the parent that I had. I mean,
Right.
biologically it is, but
Right. Yeah.
okay.
It's just there's personality differences. There's 3 aspects that make up who we are. There's temperament. There's 9 aspects of temperament. You can't change that. That's locked in. That's like when you pick a dog. That's why pick of the litter is so important. And even with horses, when you type them and so on, it's because that's locked in. Your temperament is locked in as a human. Personality, according to Peterson, which I love. It's not his, but the Big Five personality test is the one I love. 10 aspects of personality. You can change some of your personality. For example, compassion, extroversion. You can't change something like with your ex-husband, industriousness. That's a little locked in.
Mm,
And then attachment, and attachment is fully changeable.
okay.
Temperament,
Great.
temperament you can't change.
Hoping.
Personality you can change some. Attachment you can change all of it. Right.
Okay. That's what I needed to hear.
Right. So how your parents co-regulate with you teaches you how your value is, what you can trust, how you can trust others, how you trust yourself, your level of protection, what safety means to you. That's then what you take into relationships. And we will oftentimes, and something that'll really tickle your brain. If you have, for example, an alcoholic parent,
Okay.
it's not as frequent that someone becomes an alcoholic. They oftentimes will say, like, I am not going to drink. I'm not touching. I don't want to be like my parents.
Yeah.
But they pick men that are, guess what?
As their
Alcoholic.
parent. Yes.
Yeah. Because that's what their
It's
nervous
familiar.
system knows. Exactly.
I was gonna
I'm not
thought.
like my dad. I'm not like my mom. I don't understand why I can't pick the right men. It's because you're picking the men that are familiar to you. Whether it's healthy or not, that's your comfort zone. That's your baseline operating system. And you want to stay there. Guess how the women feel around the secure men when they're dating them?
Like, bored.
Exactly. It doesn't feel right.
Oh
There's
my
no
god.
chemistry. There's no
Yes.
sparkle. her. There's no spark. He's boring. I just don't feel it. He gave me the ick because he texted me, good morning. I hope you had fun last night, the day after the first date. Like, who does that? He texts me so much. I'm like, how many times? He's like, I don't know, once, twice a day. I'm like, yeah, that sounds really psychotic.
Because they're used to it is so funny. I had a show yesterday and she was saying the same thing. She's like, Aaron,
Right.
because I was saying I keep getting ghosted. And she's like telling me about these guys. And we kind of unpack that
Yeah.
I go after guys that make me feel anxious and I have to like win, like maybe
Right.
in the public eye. And because
Mhm.
with my ex. And when I was coming out of my bulimia and not having a lot of self worth, I've
Mhm.
unpacked through therapy. He was shiny. And if
Mhm.
he chose me, then I was shiny because I was his
Sure.
pick. So I had to
Right.
validate through relationship. And now it's like the guys that are so sweet and are just like, I know they really see me. I was like, I'm just never attracted to. And she was like, Aaron,
Right.
like this is you're attracted to the familiar thing that you had with your ex. And it's like they're
Mhm.
shiny and you're trying to win them. If it seems too easy, like you're not attracted. But like I hear that, but all the things that I want them to be are that secure attachment. It's like I don't want to I don't know. I understand the whole thing is like a dopamine hit. If somebody like you don't hear from them all day and then it's like that's the one
Right.
you're attracted to because you just want this and it's not
Yeah.
fun if they're but I do want that secure
Of course.
attachment. I promise I do, but I keep shit.
People, women and men, women more often. I coach mostly women, although I coach a lot of men. It's mostly women because women are more growth orientated, so they tend to seek out help more frequently. Even in the healthcare landscape, it's always more women utilizing the system. So when it comes to, yes, that I hear women say, I keep attracting the wrong guy, and I'm like, well, you're not
Yes.
attracted. You're attracted to who you attract. It's the one you keep that's the problem, right?
Okay.
So when it comes to this, it is exactly that. You are going to attract the familiar. Your sense of self-worth is determined by what you think you have to do to feel love in relationship. And if you don't have to perform, if you don't have to be the best at everything, then you're like, well, I can't possibly love this person because I don't need to be different than who I am. I can't show up as who I am. Why would he love that?
I hear that, but I will also say I finally feel confident enough to be exactly who I am. Like I'm a little quirky and I have the
Mm,
sense of humor of like a 10-year-old boy. Like I laugh at things that
yeah,
people are like, that is inappropriate. I'm that way now. And I never used to be because I was always presenting as
yeah,
who I wanted the man, like what I thought he would want. So now the people that I don't want to say dating. I haven't made it to a date. I got ghosted twice from texting. I'm gonna get there very soon. But I'm
yeah.
being exactly finally living exactly as who I am and the person that I love that I am. They're getting
Mm,
me. And I guess I don't want to say attracting that. Like they are interested and we're texting. It's happened twice, Chris. And it's like 10 times a day. You're talking good
right.
morning to like at night. Then it's like 4 hours go by. And then you hear from him. Then it's like a day goes by. Then I was like, well, I'm not
Mm,
texting. And then that's the end. They're just gone.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
I don't, it hurts. It's like, obviously, like, doesn't feel good. It makes me not want to date because I'm like, they're just going to go away. I guess, like, I'm learning as these situationships are happening, like, okay, well, that didn't work out. But it's like the same thing. And it makes me question, like, what am I doing? I'm not even making it to a date. Like, we text, then they just kind of start going away. And then I don't text because pride. And then they're gone. It is over. And that's what's
So,
happened
so,
twice.
so I guess the real question would be, why do you think you're doing anything wrong? But I
Because
want to
where
back.
did they
Oh,
go? Because they left. They stopped
does it?
texting.
That's the question. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They did you a favor, and I'll get to this in a second because women, you guys, and let me explain this. You're not going to like this. You have it.
That's
You're
fine.
lucky with the right perception. Women have it easier in dating, and I'm going to explain why you do. I'm going to remove all responsibility from women with dating, at least a lot of it.
Okay.
Okay. First off, with you saying you know all the things, but you still do this or that or that. And this is common. And I coach a lot of CEO women, a lot of very successful, very intelligent, emotionally attuned women that know all the things, but their body hasn't caught up to the brain.
Their
The body
nervous
keeps the
system isn't
score.
regulated.
The
Ugh,
nervous system isn't regulated. The nervous system is storing the decades of trauma, the childhood attachment, the previous relationships, the affairs that either they've had or their partners had, the kids. It's storing all of this stuff and it has to be trained in real time. It needs to be desensitized to the triggers. It has to understand what the triggers are. You need to go through the work on a body level in order for it to catch up to the brain. The vagus nerve, two-way line. Basically, it controls all the visceral organs, the fight, flight response, flight, fight, freeze, fawn. 70% of those fibers go to the brain. Only 30% go down to the body. Women
Mhm.
feel with your body first. Once you process here, then you'll make sense of it once your emotions calm down. So if 70% of the body is telling the brain what to do, women will say and do something very reactively emotionally if you're not under a controlled state. But women have changing in emotions often and quickly at times, right? So
Mhm.
what you say will
That's
change a little bit as your emotional state changes. The idea is to understand, where is it in my body? How do I control that narrative, stop the reel from playing, and have my brain control the body before it gets out of control. This is the
like,
skill.
this is a skill I have not honed, and I do it through, like, the dating situations. Like, I keep
Yeah,
exposure therapy.
yeah.
I keep just putting myself out there, getting ghosted, and be like, "Oh, well, at least my nervous system is getting a little bit more used to
With
this."
with the getting ghosted and the responsibility of women, so sitting in your feminine means
Yeah.
you show up. You're present, you're you're receiving, receptive to him leading.
Okay.
You allow him to, in essence, control. He can plan the date, he can pay for the date, he can do the things, he can plan the next one, he can tell you he wants to see you again. You let the narrative kind of be written by him, because you want to
Yeah.
know, does the man have the capacity to lead? Does the man have the
Yes.
capacity that if he's going to lose his job as a professional football player, that he can still rewrite the narrative and keep planning ahead? These are early
Yes.
tests to see, what is integrity level, what's his industriousness level, what is his personality, what is his temperament? Can he lead in the future for himself and subsequently for me? Does he have
Okay.
control of himself? What does this look like? Does he know what he wants? Does he have a purpose? As a woman, you show up into relationship, or into dating rather, and I when I'm coaching women, I coach like, when you coach with me, you get WhatsApp. So people will like, part of, you pay for access essentially. So women that are going on dates, they'll be like, they'll send me the text messages.
Yes.
They're like, this is what he said. This is and I'm like, I kind of help them navigate, calm them down,
Oh, you're like a
and
hitch.
yeah, exactly, yeah, really
Okay.
though. And I'm not about testing men, but I'm about saying, I'll give you an example. Online
Yes.
dating. I have a client, and she met a man. He's across the country, and he flew in to see her. And they both have families, so they can't relocate right away. They go on some dates. It's really good. The first week, he's like, "I want you to be my girl." I'm like, "Whoa, that's a little soon," you know. And she's like, "Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. This woman, like yourself, intelligent, got all the stuff. She's been through the ringer, around 40 years of age, so she knows what she knows."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, I kind of thought." She's like, "But I really like him a lot," and blah blah. And I'm like, "No, no, it's too soon." They're both on online dating apps. And she's like, "I'm not really active on mine, but I don't know if he's active on his." And I said, "Okay." She's like, "I want to bring it up." I'm like, "Do not bring it up."
Okay.
Okay. Because again, the man will decide for you by showing you who he is. If you
Mm,
let him, you cannot control the narrative and tell him what you want him to do, because then you don't know if who he is who he says he is.
that is
Right?
so true.
Follow me with
Yes.
this. This is how, because I was that guy for years. So I coach women as a secure man now, what to look out for, what not to do. So I tell her, I'm like, he's going back to his city. And I'm like, don't bring up the dating thing. He told you he wants you to be his girl.
Yeah.
And he's on an online dating app. He's going back to his city on the other side of the country. Here's an opportunity for him to show, is he have integrity? Does he have integrity? If he said he wants you to be his girlfriend and he is online, if you see that he's online dating, that means
Yes.
what he said to you does not track with what he's doing. This is a
Totally.
compromise of integrity right away. If you call him out on it, you rob him of the opportunity to prove that he has integrity. I cannot tell you I'm honest. I cannot tell you I have integrity. I cannot tell you I am industriousness. I cannot tell you anything about myself, because I have to prove it. It doesn't hold
Okay.
any weight until you're given the opportunity to prove I am industriousness, until you're given the opportunity to prove I have integrity. Okay. So I
Yes.
tell women, give men the opportunity to prove it to you. As a result, they will fall off. They will tell you they are not for you.
They did. Yeah. And it's a
So
favor. Looking at
all
it
you
as like,
have to
thank
do,
God. Yeah.
it's a favor. All
Okay.
you have to do is show up in relationship, be yourself,
Yeah.
be present, be able to receive, and let him show you who he is. This is a problem, because women when you know what you want, when you know what you know, you want to kind of control the narrative a little bit, right?
Yes, that's
You know?
exactly it. You're like, "Oh, just, like, check in," so then you
Yeah,
remind him you're here. Shouldn't have to remind him you're
yeah.
here. Like, let him show you if he's not texting you, that's showing
You let him
you you're not a
you let him
priority.
show you. Yeah, if he's not
Yeah.
texting you and you were the last one to text, as long as it wasn't completely open-ended,
Yeah.
let him lead,
Ugh.
right? And Matthew Hussey is big on this. He's like the
Yes.
ghosting. Like if they ghost, it's got nothing to do with you. And just because you have a good first or second date, if it was the best first date of your life, best second date of your life, there is no guarantee that there will be a third date.
Ooh. Why do you say
Yeah,
that?
because it doesn't matter. I get along with everybody. You seem very friendly. You probably get along with everybody. Just because we have good conversation, just because there's a little chemistry, doesn't mean that there's a future for us.
Okay.
Maybe there was a difference in values. Maybe there was a personality aspect that the person didn't like. Maybe there was a future alignment, a future goal, or something that was brought up that doesn't align with that person.
Right.
Maybe, as I recommend, they're dating 3 or 4 other people. Maybe one of the other people they took interest in. It's got nothing to do with you. This is why part of the feminine is being present, showing up, being able to receive, and letting the process unfold in a natural way without the expectation of a future outcome that you hope for.
Oh my
Hope
god.
and desire will inevitably let you down. It's difficult though.
I
You have
know.
to stay present, right?
Okay. Oh my
So,
gosh.
but this is the challenging thing. We had great day. We texted for a week. It was amazing, and they ghosted me. It's like it's got nothing to do with you.
They just don't know how to, like it's like they don't know how to end it or to, like it's their own,
There's no
like,
end.
not having the tools to
They don't owe you anything. You don't
that's
owe
so
them
true.
anything.
Yeah. I'm like, "But we
You
text
don't.
every day. Where'd you go?" But yeah, they don't know me, like, we text, like
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It
Okay.
shows a low level of integrity. It does, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I mean, we've all been there. I've been there. I haven't been online dating in forever. I won't do it again. I met my person, so that's a whole other
How?
story.
How? Real quick, how
How?
did you meet? Not on an app, just God just was like, "Here you go." Like, at
Yep.
some point, I'm gonna just meet the person. I have to believe that.
Right. Well, you're going to have a higher probability meeting people if you have predictability in your life. So I tell women when they want to meet someone in the wild, you have a system, have a routine, go at the same places that you like to go to at the same time, plus or minus on the same days. Grocery shop on specific times, on specific days. Go to the gym at the same time every day, whatever that is. Don't vary things. Statistically, mathematically, you'll have the highest probability. And I'll tell you my story. I saw my
Yes.
person gosh, this is a long time ago. I saw her at the gym, and I went at an unusual time. I was usually going at 9 o'clock, and I went at around noon that day. And at that time, I said, "Gosh, I this woman, I saw her. I'm like, she's beautiful," and I switched my time. I started going at 12.
No, of
Okay,
course you did.
right. Of course I did. I'm not an idiot. So I went at 12 because I'm like, I need to see this person. Well, I never saw her again for some time. Then I saw her again, but I didn't, you got to be in the mood as a guy. You got to like,
Yeah.
I was not on my game. And she honestly, I think in hindsight, she was going through some stuff. She was very unapproachable looking, right? We're talking
Okay.
shark eyes, dead emotion. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, the next time, it took me 3 months of going to the
Uh,
gym every day, 7 days a week at that time with the hope that I'd see her again. The third time I saw her, I did. I asked her out. And then the rest is history. We were just friends for 5 weeks,
oh,
6 weeks, didn't even hold hands, nothing, just talked and hung out and then got into a relationship after that. Turns out we had seen each other once or twice in public and realized that months later that we had run into each other before.
yeah.
Just she's like, I remembered you at this place at this time. I'm like, oh my God, that was you. So it was quite interesting. But the moral of the story is if you're doing things consistently, the probability of running into people is much higher. Go places that you want to meet a man. Don't go to the bar. If you're going out, go with your girlfriends to a restaurant, right? Or whatever it is. It's not that you
Okay.
can't meet somebody out, but what kind of lifestyle do you want the man to live? Go to the farmer's market, go to the gym, go to a yoga class, go to an art
Okay.
exhibits, go to places where you want to see the men doing the things that align with you and do it regularly, do it consistently. Go to Whole Foods because you want a man maybe that makes a little bit more money and maybe has a healthier lifestyle.
That's a
Shop
good
there.
point.
Shop there once a week, but no joke. Whether you're like I'm broke, I'm like just go there and buy a package of $10 eggs. Then I don't care.
Yeah, you don't have to buy anything. I'm looking at the time, we already gone over an hour. I need you to come back. Like,
Yeah,
this
well, we
has
can do
been
it.
so good. If s Are you
right?
taking clients? If people are like, "I need to be
I
in his
am.
WhatsApp."
I'm
Okay, where do people go?
actually I'm currently onboarding a very low number of my one-on-one clients. That's where most of my energy goes because, again, you get high level of access to me for everything we just talked about, and I tell it like direct. Evolved by Chris on Instagram. That's the primary way you go on there. We have a form. My link tree is in my bio. You click on that. You can do an application to work with me one-on-one.